As many Timberwolves fans did, I spent the last couple of weeks in a rapid descent. Hope and optimism subsided as we experienced a brutal 7-game losing streak. And not just 7 losses, but 7 losses, each one of them particularly brutal in their own way. 15 days between wins in a compressed, shortened season was fuel enough for some Wolves fans to hit the panic button. But now that we've emerged on the other side of this awful losing streak, it's time for us to take inventory and reassess who we are, and if there is still hope. Now trust me, there's plenty of negative to address with this team, but for right now and for this video, we're just going to focus on the positives and why there is still hope. So here they are, 5 reasons to have hope about the Wolves this season. I hope that Gerson Rosas has puffed away a cigar in reflection of his Malik Beasley extension this last offseason. Beasley has been everything that the Wolves and Wolves fans could have hoped he could be after signing his contract extension this last season. Bees is getting us 20 points a game and shooting 40% from 3 while doing so, and a lot of pressure has been put on Beasley. In the absence of Towns, he has stepped into a clear number 2 and sometimes number 1 scoring option alongside D'Angelo Russell, and he has delivered. As we reincorporate Towns, Beasley will find himself with more open looks than before, and if he can continue to produce at this level, we will be more than a headache for opposing defenses. Now, I don't want to oversimplify this, but here is our defense with Josh Okogie. Now, keep your eyes on it. Here is our defense without Josh Okogie. I know it's a subtle difference, but it is an important one. Okogie returned in our second Spurs game, our streak snapping game. And while I think it's fair to attribute that win mostly to D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, there is no doubt that Okogie had a strong impact. As always seems to be the case with Okogie, his stats of 6 points and 4 boards with 1 block don't do his game any justice. Our defense looked alive, and the way that Okogie agitates and harasses opponents is what gives our defense teeth. Granted, playing against a DeMar DeRozan-less Spurs team helps the defense look a lot better. The greater defensive impact of Josh Okogie going forward should not be underestimated. Just look at this beautiful balling boy. I discussed Vando getting more minutes in my New Year's resolution video, and apparently I have the ear of Ryan Saunders because he has obliged. Vando has played 20 minutes in 3 of our last 4 games, and he got what I assume is his first career double-double with a 10 and 10er against Portland. If you've been watching the Wolves games, as excruciating as it has been, then you know exactly why I'm so hyped up about Vando. Every second of every play, he is scrapping and hustling, and that energy has not been matched by his teammates over this losing stretch. If the Wolves can band together and match Vando's energy, we'll be in a much better place. Surprisingly enough, Vando has seen some minutes at the 5, and obviously those won't be there with Towns being back. But it does look like Vando is going to snatch all of the minutes from Jake Layman. Layman was down to 4 minutes in Towns' return game before being a healthy scratch in our win. And looking back at the season Layman has had, it is hard to justify carving out any minutes for the guys, especially when you have someone like Vando ready to contribute. While this is not the most hopeful of situations for Jake Layman, the emergence of Jared Vanderbilt as an NBA caliber player should look to aid the Wolves and give us a little more hope as a team. Ricky Rubio has not had a dynamite season thus far, chipping in just 6 points, 5 assists, and 3 boards per game. The numbers surrounding Rubio have not been great. However, if you were able to see through your tears at the end of our overtime loss where Ant had his very painful rookie moment, Ricky Rubio was right there with him. And obviously we don't know exactly what he was saying, but this moment gave me some reaffirmation that Ricky Rubio was the veteran presence I had been hoping that he would provide. He is a coach on the court. And if you watch these Wolves games in full, you'll see it throughout the course of the game. Our Timber Pups like Ant and Vando and even Beasley getting coached on the court and between plays by Rubio. If they take well to these experiences and learn from them and listen to the veteran leadership that Ricky has to offer, this is going to be hugely beneficial for these young players. You can only hope that as the season progresses, this has its impact and we see players like Ant continue to develop and Vando find his groove in the league and Beasley becoming even better and better and outperforming the bar he has set for himself early in the season. Hearing the way that some NBA fans and even some Timberwolves fans address Karl Anthony Towns, it is clear many have forgotten how much of a game changer he is. Due to the lack of team success, Karl has caught a lot of criticism from NBA analysts, but for those of us who have been watching these Wolves games, game in and game out, we know the lack of team success is not to be pinned on Towns. This stretch of games without him made it perfectly clear how deficient our roster is, and perhaps how deficient our coaching staff may be, and this applies to last year as well. But his return, even in an overtime loss, reminded us exactly how different of a team we are with him on the court. In a wrist brace, Karl Towns came back onto the court and gave us 25 points, 13 boards, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. And honestly, I'm getting kind of fired up just talking about the disrespect Karl has received from not only the national media, but more importantly from Wolves fans. 25, 13, 4, and 3 in a wrist brace 2 weeks after dislocating his wrist. Towns is an all-NBA caliber player. He is 7 feet tall and shooting 41% from 3 in his 3 games so far, and that is standard procedure for him, 40% from 3 throughout his career. Literally, nobody else does that. Nobody else in the league can shoot threes at his efficiency while grabbing 12 boards a game. He is one of one. He is the unicorn everybody was so caught up in chasing a couple years ago. His presence alone gives us playoff ambitions. If it was Towns and 14 G League guys, which some nights it feels like it is, we'd have a little bit of playoff hope. Towns has spent a lot of time hurt in the last year, but before that, he played every single game in his first 3 seasons and played 77 of 82 in his 4th season, where it literally took a car crash to make him miss his first game. As soon as we get a fully healthy Karl Anthony Towns, and he reminds us, and everybody, exactly who he is, there is going to be a lot of sour fans and analysts who look really freaking stupid, because this guy is a stud. So can Karl pull us out of the scrap heap and back into the playoff mix after such a terrible start for our team? Absolutely. We're 4.5 games back from being the 1 seed. This season is so young. We're only 2 games out of a playoff spot. This season is still very, very young, and while this slow start certainly doesn't help us, it is by no standard damning. If we get Karl back in full form, there's plenty of room left for hope. Alright, I know you guys come to this channel for Wolves content, and I am gonna keep on providing it. But if you've got an itch for more NBA content and like the stuff that I make, I encourage you to go and check out the team profile that I just did on the Blazers. If you didn't see my New Year's resolution video, you should go check it out because it's still got a lot of pertinent analysis for the Wolves going forward. Either way, stay lit, and thanks for watching.